He saved my daughter's life. And that man, I love that man more than anything in the world. He was more than what this world knew.
I just talked to Jimmy Hart yesterday and he was fine. To have this happen, it's horrible.
I'm gonna miss you, brother. I'm sorry. He didn't know her from Adam, but he knew she was hurting. And he walked that beach with her for hours and gave her hope. Words of encouragement.
You've seen the headlines, you've heard the noise. But what if I told you there's a part of Hulk Hogan's story you haven't heard? Not the wrestler, not the scandals, not the icon, but the man. The one behind the fame, the one who walked through pain, loss, and ultimately redemption. Because what we're about to talk about today isn't trending. It's not a hot take. It's real. And honestly, it hits different. See, a lot of people love the idea of Hulk Hogan, the yellow and red, the 24-inch pythons, the catchphrases. But the people who knew him, they didn't just talk about a legend. They talked about a man who showed up quietly, without cameras, without headlines. And that's where this next story breaks you.
Can you just tell us what Hulk Hogan meant to you, sir?
What Hulk Hogan meant to me?
Yes.
He saved my daughter's life.
He did?
Yeah. You didn't know the Hulk unless you knew the Hulk. The Hulk Hogan had a heart of gold and gave a new meaning of taking a shirt off his back and giving it to you. That man saved my daughter's life about a year ago, and I can never repay him for it now.
Can you explain that? How did that happen?
My daughter got a very rare disease when she was in Mexico. And for 2 years, she fought that battle. And she finally overcame it. She had called me up. She said, "Dad, I need to come see you." So I sent for a plane ticket. She came down here for 2 weeks. We came here. And she said, "I'd really like to meet that man." So I called him up. And they walked right through this, right between these two buildings. And he walked with my daughter hand in hand. And he gave her hope and faith that she could overcome and survive. That was the Hulk. That's what that man did. He didn't know her from Adam, but he knew she was hurting. And he walked that beach with her for hours and gave her hope. Words of encouragement. He saved my daughter's life. And that man, I love that man more than anything in the world. He was more than what this world knew. And he kept a lot of that to himself for good reasons. But those who knew him knew how his heart was made of gold. If you didn't know him, you didn't know how true that man was and how much he loved his fans and how much he really cared.
What is your message to his family, his children, his wife?
His children, they know he was the greatest man. I love you. My heart's with you. My heart goes out with you. I send you all my prayers. And if there's anything you need, you call Steve and we'll be there for you.
Your final message to Hulk Hogan. What is your message to the man himself?
I'm gonna miss you, brother. Thank you for saving my daughter's life. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for blessing me. Thank you for giving me just a chance to be equal with you. I'm sorry.
Did Hulk Hogan say things that were wrong? Yes. Did he carry pain and controversy? Absolutely. But he also carried something else. Listen, it's okay if you don't agree with Hulk Hogan. It's okay if his past still doesn't sit right with you. You're allowed to wrestle with that. But what's not okay is losing your humanity in the face of death. Disagreeing with someone, even disliking them, doesn't give us a free pass to mock the moment their life ends, because death doesn't ask who was perfect. It asks, who are you becoming while watching others fall? You don't have to celebrate him, but don't let bitterness rob you of compassion, because if there's no grace for the fallen, what hope is there for any of us?
You people that are celebrating Hulk Hogan's death, you ought to be ashamed and disgusted with yourself. Yes, has he said some very controversial and racist things? Of course. And I'm not condoning that whatsoever. But at the end of the day, somebody lost a father, a husband, an uncle, a nephew. Someone lost a family member that they can never ever see again. And it doesn't take 2 seconds out of your day just to say RIP, even if you don't personally like the guy. Because there's a difference between Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, and Terry Bollea, the individual. Terry Bollea, not a fan of, racist piece of shit, I agree. And has he apologized for some of the things he said? Of course, mainly because he got caught. But that still should not diverge people expressing their condolences for somebody that died. And even with Terry Bollea saying the things that he said, let's not pretend that Hulk Hogan did not revolutionize the wrestling industry. Let's not pretend wrestling isn't mainstream because of what Hulk Hogan did for it. Let's not pretend the reason you started watching wrestling along with millions of other people wasn't because of Hulk Hogan. Where have we gone in society merely because of the stupidity and toxicity of cancel culture, where you can't put your personal feelings aside for somebody and just express your condolences? You got people on Twitter celebrating this man's death and talking about they smoking that Hulk Hogan death pack. Y'all would not be feeling that way if somebody in your family had died and you got people talking crazy like that about them on social media. And at the end of the day, God is going to be the last final judgment of his life. So if God felt that his racist comments determined him not to go to heaven, that's his choice to make, not yours. If God determined that his racist comments was a mistake and that people do make mistakes in their life, that's enough for him to still go to heaven, that's his decision, not yours. You people are not God. Stop trying to pretend to be one.
Hulk Hogan meant a lot of things to different people. To some, he was a childhood hero. To others, he was a man who fell short, didn't always say the right things. And honestly, both can be true. But you'll agree with me on this. Just like you, just like me, we all make mistakes. That's the whole essence of being human, isn't it? We're not made to be perfect. We're made to learn, to grow, to fall, and hopefully rise again. So yes, if you disagreed with him, if his past makes you uncomfortable, that's valid. But that shouldn't erase your humanity.
Your daughter posted a beautiful poem on Facebook. If you knew the dad I knew, you'd know he raised me well. He taught me folks are so much more than shades could ever tell.
Yeah, and if anybody should have disowned me, it should have been her. You know, she should have been the one. She should have been the one to throw me out like the trash, but instead she showed me more love than any.
This is very difficult for me to say. Hulk Hogan, my great friend, is dead. He passed away this morning at 71 years old after a massive heart attack at his beautiful Florida home. And let me tell you, he had serious back issues, surgeries, constant pain. We spent a lot of time together, WrestleMania, campaign rallies, you name it. He always had my back, and I'll never forget that. He wasn't just the greatest wrestler of all time. He was a true American hero. Hulk was strong, loyal, and larger than life, the kind of guy who walks in a room and everyone stops. 6-time WWE champion, 2-time Hall of Famer, movie star, reality TV star. He was more famous than most presidents, and believe me, I know fame. He had 2 great kids, Brooke and Nick, a beautiful family, and he loved them very much, but wrestling takes a toll. This morning the call came in, the Hulkster collapsed and couldn't be revived. The world lost a legend, and I lost a friend. He used to say, train hard, say your prayers, eat your vitamins.
You've said the greatest moment of your life.
Yes, without a doubt.
Terry, what did that mean for you?
It broke down that 4th or 5th wall to tell people the truth about my Lord and Savior, how, you should look at things or how you should care for people and not judge people. And it set me free. It wasn't that perfect vessel that I should be or should have been. Once I was baptized, I felt I was all anew. It really was a major pivot in my life.
It was so fun to be a part of Terry's baptism and to see the ripple effect that has made all over the world. He had people in Japan calling him just a couple of minutes later. This is the way that Christians go public in their faith, and he felt it important to do what Christians do.
Hulk Hogan, what does the person of Jesus Christ Terry bring to you?
That God presence in us, you know, that still small voice. So what Terry brings to the table is a meat suit, you know, a meat suit filled with the Spirit of Christ, and it's a testing ground for me. I accepted Christ as my Savior when I was 14, but I derailed. It wasn't my life. He has given me the opportunity to prove that I'm faithful, and I'll never make those same mistakes again. My faith, the momentum was overwhelming. There was nothing stopping me.
Hulk Hogan's life was messy. So is mine, so is yours. But if you look past the headlines, you'll find a man who fell and then got back up with a different spirit. A man who quietly gave hope to strangers. A man who walked with Christ in the end. A man worth remembering.